Bonnie.
And I'm Xianghan,
Students from SMJK CHUNG BUTTERWORTH.
Today we're going to carry out 4 experiments with the topic our body systems.
They are nervous system, digestive system, blood circulatory system, and respiratory system. This candy is so sweet, but how can we detect the taste of the candy?
Let's carry out an experiment to find the answer.
For this experiment, we will need cocoa powder, pieces of paper, water, and a dropper. Let's start our experiment. First, place pieces of paper on the top of each other. Then, sprinkle some cocoa powder onto the paper. You can see that the cocoa powder cannot diffuse or absorb by the paper. Now, drop a few drops of the water onto the cocoa powder. Now, you can see that the cocoa powder is dissolved in the water and is slowly absorbed into the paper. Why will this happen?
The surface of the paper represents the surface of the tongue. The cocoa powder represents the food particles, and the water represents the saliva. When there is food on the tongue, the brain produces nerve impulses to the tongue to produce saliva. The saliva helps to dissolve the food particles so that they can be diffused or dissolved into the taste buds on the surface of the tongue. This allows the brain to determine taste with our tongue.
Oh, that's why when I eat candy, I will taste sweet.
Food will be digested by the digestive system, while the undigested food will become feces. So how does feces be eliminated from the body?
Let's make an experiment to show the process of defecation.
Experiment. We will need a plasticine, oil, and a rubber pipe. Pipe will represent the large intestine. The plasticine represents the feces. First, cover the plasticine with oil. Then place it into the rubber pipe. Now use your hands to compress the rubber pipe. Our hands represent the muscles of the large intestine. You can see that the plasticine has come out from the rubber pipe. Why?
Let me explain it to you. The force used by our hand to compress the pipe represents the contraction and relaxation of the muscle of large intestine. The contraction and relaxation of the large intestine muscles allow feces to move. This movement is known as peristalsis. In the end, the feces will be eliminated out through the anus. This process is also called defecation. When we gain nutrients from the digested food, the nutrient will be absorbed into the bloodstream and transported to whole body. There are 3 types of blood vessels in the body, which are vein, capillary, and artery.
Let's see the difference of blood pressure between the vein and the artery.
For this experiment, we will need a small rubber tube, a large rubber tube, and a basin. Let's start our experiment. First, connect the large rubber tube with a water tap. Then connect the small rubber tube with another water tap. Now open the both water taps together. You can see that the water flows through the large rubber tube was at a low pressure, while the water flows through the small rubber tube was at a high pressure. Why will this happen?
The lumen of the vein, which is larger and has a larger volume, allows blood to filtrate under low pressure. On the other hand, the lumen of the artery, which is smaller and has a smaller volume, allows blood to filtrate under high pressure. This also allows the artery to transport oxygenated blood to the whole body at a higher speed. Two types of blood in our human body, which is oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So, how does blood become oxygenated?
Let's create a lung model to show you the process of inhalation of lungs.
For this experiment, we will need a plastic container, balloons, plasticine, straws, and one larger straw. Make a small hole under the plastic container. Now, use one larger straw and two smaller straws to make a straw model. Now, attach two balloons to the straw model. Don't forget to place the plasticine at the bottom of the straw. You must make sure that the model is in Y shape. Now, attach the straw model into the plastic container. Next, place the plasticine on top of the container. This helps to seal the air from entering the straw model. Now, cut the balloon in half. Cover the plastic container with the balloon. Show the process of inhalation. Pull the rubber sheet downwards. You can see that the balloon inflates. But why? One star represents the trachea, and the two small stars represents the bronchus. The balloons represents the lungs, and the rubber sheet represents the diaphragm, and the whole plastic container represents the rib cage.
The volume in the jar increased, which caused the pressure in the jar decrease. The higher atmospheric pressure outside the jar forced the air into the balloon. That's why the balloon inflates. Briefly, this is how our breathing occurs in daily life. During inhalation, the oxygen fills the alveoli and becomes higher concentration. This makes the higher concentration of oxygen diffuse into blood capillaries. In blood capillaries, the oxygen combines with hemoglobin to become oxyhemoglobin, which is oxygenated blood.
Hope you can learn something about our body system.
That's all from us today. Thank you.
Bye-bye.